The internet is buzzing again. Capcom has finally teased Resident Evil 9. The brief trailer dropped out of nowhere and fans are already dissecting every frame. We've seen so little, but the promise is huge. The tone is clear. This isn't the action spectacle of Resident Evil 6. It feels intimate, claustrophobic, and unsettling. The opening shots reveal a desolate, overgrown landscape, folk horror with a modern, grimy twist. Capcom is showing just enough to let our imaginations run wild. The fear of the unknown is front and center. Forums are ablaze with theories, some focus on cryptic symbols, others on the isolated setting. This slow-burn marketing is masterful, letting dread build before we even know who we're playing as. The teaser doesn't show a hero blasting through enemies. It shows darkness, solitude, and a threat that's unseen but ever-present. This is the essence of classic Resident Evil horror. After the blockbuster adventure of Resident Evil 8, this feels like a deliberate return to survival horror roots. Capcom seems to be listening to fans who want pure terror. The community's reaction is electric, anticipation is sky-high. The early glimpse signals a commitment to horror, not action. The environment is oppressive, the mood is thick with dread. Capcom is letting our imaginations do the heavy lifting, and it's working. This is a promising start, hinting at a truly frightening experience. The question now, can Resident Evil 9 reclaim the crown as the scariest in the series? If this teaser is any indication, it just might. Sound is half the battle in horror, and Resident Evil 9's teaser nails it. Instead of cheap jump scares, we get a tapestry of unsettling noises. Creaking floorboards, howling wind, distant whispers. These sounds burrow under your skin, creating a constant thrum of anxiety. The audio plays tricks on you. Was that just the wind or something lurking nearby? Every random noise becomes a potential threat, keeping you hyper-aware. Silence is used just as effectively. When ambient sounds fade, you're left with only your character's ragged breathing. This sudden quiet is jarring, making you feel exposed and vulnerable. The tension builds, and you're always waiting for something to happen. The dynamic range, shifting from complex soundscapes to unnerving quiet, keeps players on edge. It's reminiscent of the oppressive sound design from Resident Evil 7's Baker Estate, but even more refined. The environment itself feels alive, every creak and groan a potential warning. If the full game maintains this level of auditory detail, players will be checking over their shoulders long after they've put the controller down. The sound design alone could make this the most immersive entry yet. Capcom clearly understands that psychological horror is as much about what you hear as what you see. The teaser's audio is a masterclass in building dread. It's not about loud scares, it's about making you afraid of every little sound. This approach promises a deeper, more lasting fear. Resident Evil 9 is shaping up to be a nightmare for your nerves. The auditory landscape is as terrifying as the visuals. Prepare to play with the lights on. Resident Evil 9 looks stunning, but it's a grim, haunting kind of beauty. The RE engine's latest iteration crafts a world that feels tangible and deeply unsettling. Lighting is a standout. Shadows become inky pools that swallow light, hiding threats in every corner. The environments ooze decay, dust motes in the air, peeling wallpaper and rooms that tell stories of abandonment. This isn't a sterile world, it's lived in, then violently deserted. The muted color palette, grays, browns, sickly greens, creates a somber, oppressive mood. When color does appear, like a splash of blood, it's shocking and instantly draws your eye. Every detail is designed to make the horror feel real and immediate. The environment itself is an antagonist, hostile and unwelcoming. Compared to previous games, this is a clear evolution. The textures are sharper, the lighting more dynamic, the atmosphere more cinematic. The world feels fundamentally unsafe, forcing you to navigate a visual nightmare. Environmental storytelling is at the forefront, making every room a source of tension. The visuals don't just look scary, they make you feel trapped and uneasy. Capcom is pushing the RE engine to new heights for horror. Resident Evil 9's world is a place you'll want to escape, not explore. The terror is in the details, and every frame is designed to unsettle. This is visual horror at its finest. Atmosphere is what separates good horror from great horror, and Resident Evil 9 is drenched in it. The teaser's slow, deliberate camera movements let you soak in every unsettling detail. The setting feels remote and cut off, amplifying the sense of isolation. There's no backup, just you, a flickering light, and the sounds of a world gone wrong. The architecture is hostile, nature is overgrown, and every location feels steeped in pain and history. Dread isn't just about monsters, it's about the psychological weight of the environment. The game evokes the same uncertainty as stepping into the Spencer Mansion for the first time. Suspense and psychological terror take priority over action. It's not about what you see, but what you don't. The feeling of being watched, the fear of what's around the next corner, these are the true horrors. If Capcom maintains this atmosphere, Resident Evil 9 could be the most frightening entry yet. The dread is thick and it lingers long after the teaser ends. Every fan has their scariest Resident Evil moment, be it the first zombie, nemesis, or a licker's ambush. Resident Evil 9's teaser draws from all these fears, the unknown, being hunted, and sudden shocks. The oppressive atmosphere and isolation are clear callbacks to the original game. Environmental detail and psychological dread take center stage, echoing the slow burn tension of the Spencer Mansion. There are hints of a stalking enemy, something that actively hunts you, reminiscent of Mr. X or Nemesis. This kind of persistent threat keeps you moving, never feeling safe. The high-fidelity visuals promise that when violence happens, it'll be truly shocking. Flashes of gore and unsettling imagery suggest Capcom isn't shying away from body horror. By blending slow-burn dread, a stalking foe, and visceral shocks, Resident Evil 9 could deliver a greatest hits of the series' scariest elements. It's a return to what made the franchise iconic. The new game aims to terrify on every level, psychological, physical, and emotional. If it succeeds, it could set a new standard for horror in the series. Resident Evil 9 is poised to be a true nightmare. Resident Evil 7 was a turning point, bringing the series back to its horror roots. The first-person perspective made every scare personal and immediate. The Baker family were memorable, character-driven antagonists, far scarier than generic monsters. Resident Evil 9's teaser hints at similarly intelligent, cunning threats. The claustrophobic setting, tight corridors, low ceilings, amplifies tension and vulnerability. Environmental design limits your movement, making every encounter more intense. The power of mystery was key in RE7, and RE9 seems to be setting up a central enigma with cryptic symbols and an ambiguous threat. The focus is on immersion, character-driven horror, and a contained, oppressive world. Capcom is building on what made RE7 terrifying: perspective, antagonists, setting, and mystery. Resident Evil 9 looks to be a worthy successor, refining these elements for maximum fear. The lessons of RE7 are clear. Keep it personal, keep it claustrophobic, keep it mysterious. If RE9 follows through, it could be the scariest yet. The foundation for true horror is set. Resident Evil 8 Village had moments of pure horror. House Beneviento stands out as a masterclass in psychological terror. Resident Evil 9's teaser suggests a whole game built around that philosophy. Less combat, more dread. Village excelled at enemy variety, and RE9 hints at new, unique monsters. The fleeting shapes in the teaser promise fresh horrors we haven't seen before. Deep world building and folklore gave Village its immersive edge. RE9's folk horror vibe and cryptic symbols suggest a similar approach. Grounding the horror in culture and mythology makes it feel authentic and terrifying. Smart pacing, balancing terror with quiet exploration was key in Village, and RE9 seems to embrace this too. The teaser shows moments of stillness, letting the dread build naturally. By refining psychological horror, enemy variety, world building, and pacing, RE9 can deliver a uniquely terrifying experience. Capcom is taking the best of Village and pushing it further. The result could be a horror game that never lets you breathe easy. Resident Evil 9 is poised to perfect the formula. The big question: can Resident Evil 9 sustain its horror for a full game? The series often starts with pure terror, then shifts to action in the final act. The hope is that RE9 breaks this pattern, focusing on psychological dread and atmosphere throughout. Sustained fear comes from vulnerability, stealth, and resource management, not just scripted scares. Pacing is crucial. Moments of safety let tension rebuild, making each scare hit harder. The teaser's slow pace suggests Capcom understands this balance. If they avoid third-act action bloat, RE9 could be the most consistent horror entry yet. Capcom's recent track record inspires confidence. They know how to balance horror, action, and story. Resident Evil 9 feels like the culmination of these lessons. The intent is clear: deliver focused, pure horror from start to finish. If they stick to this vision, RE9 could redefine fear in the series. The challenge is real, but the potential is immense. This could be the scariest Resident Evil yet. As a longtime fan, the excitement for Resident Evil 9 is real. The teaser isn't just marketing, it's a promise of a return to pure, claustrophobic horror. The visuals, sound, and atmosphere all point to a meticulously crafted nightmare. My hope is Capcom fully commits no late-game action, just persistent fear and vulnerability. The focus on first-person isolation and a mysterious threat are the right ingredients. This feels like a spiritual successor to Resident Evil 7, not another action-horror hybrid. Capcom has listened to fans and delivered some of the best games in the series. Resident Evil 9 looks to refine the best elements into a singular horror experience. If it delivers on its promise, it could become the new benchmark for the franchise. The future of fear is bright and terrifying. Resident Evil 9 is the nightmare we've been waiting for.